So apparently I'm ripping people off, you're ripping people off. If you buy collections at 70%, you're the worst. What the heck are you doing? My name is TJ. I run a business called PokePaster TCG. I buy and sell Pokemon cards, a lot of times at 70%. And I am out in a park. I'm on a little break at work and was doing some phone calls and on my laptop a bit. And they say Minnesota's land of 10,000 lakes. This is one of them. I'm not sure which one this is, but yeah. And I figured I'd shoot a video. I saw a Opossum Bud video, which Opossum Bud is probably one of the Pokemon content creators that I get most excited about watching his video, because he's just, man, he's just an entertaining guy. I think, I've got a theory that if you are passionate and you're a good storyteller and you are authentic, like if you have those three things, I think you can make content. Because the authenticity thing, I think, is just so important, of just like being you and not trying to change what you say or what your opinions are or what your take is based on like what the people want to hear. And I think that that's something that guy does super well. And so I'm always, and he's just entertaining, right? But he came out with a video yesterday or anyways, at some point, and was basically saying that people buying cards at 65, 70, 75% is a ripoff, right? And people who sell cards, sell their collections to people at that price point are suckers, right? Fix my camera a little bit. And I disagree. That's not a perspective that I share, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. So I've been in the reseller game for 15 months, 16 months, year and a half, I don't know, where I buy people's collections, I buy bulk, I buy sealed, I buy pretty much everything, and then I sell it primarily on TCG Player, and I've got, my store on TCG Player where you guys can shop directly from me, and I sell stuff there, a 5% under market, which is cool. And then I make, content on YouTube where I help you guys get your store off the ground, where I encourage you to do some of these same things. Go buy bulk for a penny a piece or 3 cents a piece, and then sift through them and find the valuable cards and sell them, and go buy collections at 65 or 75 or whatever percent and sell them. And I think like the sentiment that the people selling you the collections, that's that they're suckers. What are they doing, right? I don't think that's true. So I'll kind of paint this out. If somebody has a single card, right? Let's say someone has the Bubble Mew, right? It's a hot card. Everyone's talking about Bubble Mew. Beautiful card. Whatever that artist is, I can't remember the name, but all their art's kind of getting pumped right now. Let's say you have a Bubble Mew, right? $600 card, $500 card, I forget. And you just want to sell that card, right? That's all you got for sale. You probably shouldn't sell it for 80%. You probably shouldn't sell it for 75% or 70%. You could probably get close to market value because you're selling a single card, where the person who's buying that card is likely someone who wants that single card. And so they're likely going to be willing to pay market value, or at least like 95%, like, somewhere in that range of like pretty stinking close to what the market says that it's worth, right? Heck, if you even have a few cards, right? Let's say you have like the Umbreon EX from Prismatic, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, and the, Sylveon VMAX from Evolving Skies. Those are all alt art, like chase cards. Like there's a decent chance that you can find a buyer who wants all three of those cards and is willing to pay market price. Where it gets really dicey for you as a seller is when you have not one card or two cards or three cards, but you've got like 200 cards, 300 cards, 500 cards, and you've got this collector list, right? This collection that you've built up over years of being in the hobby that's worth like $8,000 or $7,000. And it's everything from, let's say this $7,000 collection has a Giratina in there, maybe it's got a graded card, maybe you've got several $500+ cards, and then it goes all the way down to EXs, Vs, 50-cent cards, 40-cent cards, $1.50 cards. We're talking like you got Great Tusk EX full art. You got some Iron Treads action in there. They really did Donphan a disservice, because both of those Paradox forms are kind of whatever. Maybe Great Tusk is like okay, but like Fighting Ground is like, I don't know. Anyways, so they got all the cards in there. your ability to post that collection and get close to market value is slim because there are so many cards there. You're likely not going to find someone that wants all of those cards. And so as the seller, as the prospective seller, you've got this collection, right? You've got this collector link and it says 7 grand. Woo-wee, we got 7 grand, boys, and I'm trying to get out of the hobby. Pokemon doesn't do it for me like it used to. I'm ready to move on. I want to go buy a boat, right? I want to get a boat to take out on a lake like this. I want to get into fishing, you know, real adult hobby, whatever, right? Fishing school. I want to get into fishing. I want to buy a boat. I've got these, you know, $7,000 worth of Pokemon cards, and I'd rather have a boat. I'm going to sell it, okay? If you want the closest to market value, you have to sell them yourself. Here's what's going to happen if you want to sell them yourself. It is going to take you a lot of time. Those 600 cards or 500 cards or however many cards you have, you could maybe go rent a table at a card show and set up all your stuff, price it all out, sit at the card show, and maybe a decent portion of it will sell at market price, right? The cheaper ones, probably not, but you'll sell some of them, right? You get a little binder action, dollar binder, kids coming through, picking out like some of those things. I've never been at a show in person. I do all of my selling online, but I'm familiar enough to know that happens, right? You'll sell some cheap cards, but mostly you will sell the more higher end hits. But you won't sell all of them, so you might have to do a few vending shows to get rid of all of your stuff. And that's, I would say, optimistically, that you would clear out all of your stuff after a few shows. Or you do what I do, right? You go my route and you create an eBay account or you create a TCG player account and you go through listing all of those cards. You know, you make sure the conditions are good. You list them all. You buy a bunch of envelopes. You buy team bags. You buy stamps. You get ready to go. You list all the stuff. Sales come in, and it's sweet. I actually love doing that. That's why I have my business, because this brings me a ton of fulfillment. I really enjoy doing it, and that's why I tell you guys to do it, because I think it's a cool way to enjoy the hobby and make some extra money for your collection, or make some extra money just, for your family, for, your whatever it is you like to do with money. So you could go that route, right? But when you go that route, just an FYI, eBay, TCG player, you're going to be paying around 12 to 15% in fees, and you're going to need to be shipping these cards all over the country, right? And you're not going to sell them all instantly. You've got 500 or 600 cards in this collection, like I said. And I would say, like, over a couple months, maybe you get rid of all of them, like 4 months, 5 months, maybe they're all gone if you sell them at market price. And then you're still paying those fees and you're shipping them out and you're dealing with customers, right? The customer says, hey, like, this card has too many white nicks in the corner, like it's not near mint, give me a refund. And so you got to give them a refund, or you're going to get bad reviews, which is going to, like all the seller stuff, right? Like, I don't need to bore you guys down with all the ins and outs of selling. I do that on my channel enough, but you basically have to enter into this space where you are a seller. And then, not to mention, you're also spending your evenings shipping out cards. That's what I do a lot of evenings. I enjoy doing it, right? Turn on some music, listen to some Sleep Token and ship out cards, or listen to a sermon at a church somewhere and ship out cards, or watch anime and ship out cards. I love doing that. Or I'll, bring cards that I pull for orders up into the kitchen and hang out with my wife and chat with my wife while I stuff envelopes, right? I'm weird. I enjoy doing that stuff, but you might not, especially if you're trying to get out of the hobby. So what's the other alternative? Well, you could find someone like me and you could sell me the collection at 70%. You don't have to go through any of that fuss. You get that, whatever 70% or 75 or, 65, whatever, depending on what the lot is, right? What kind of stuff we're talking. You get that cash in hand that day. I hand it to you, you hand me the cards, you drive off and you go put that towards a boat, or you buy a boat, or you buy a dirt bike, or you buy a hot tub, you do whatever you're gonna do. You put a down payment on a car, whatever you wanna do with that cash, it doesn't matter. It's in your hand and it's yours. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff. That responsibility you passed on to me, and I get to reap the margins there. And what are the margins? I don't know, 15%, 12%, 20%. It just really depends. But they're slim, they're there. But the resellers work for those margins. You have to, ship stuff out and do all the stuff, right? And it's not rocket science. Like, it's not terribly challenging, but it just does take time. And so you definitely do work for those margins. And so, there are a lot of people in the reselling space. There are a lot of people in the vending space. I definitely enjoy being an online reseller more than doing vending. Now, that being said, I haven't done vending before. I just know, like, for me, like, I'm a pastor, I work on weekends, so I don't have the ability. Like, we have services, 5 services every weekend, 2 on Saturday night, 3 on Sunday morning. I cannot vend. I can't, like, you know, because that's important to me. I love what I get to do. So I don't, if you are a reseller, if you're like me and you are having people tell you that you're a horrible person for offering 70%, just shrug it off. It's fine. You're not a horrible person. If someone wants to get 85% for their massive collection of hundreds of cards, they can go sell them themselves. And I would encourage them to do that. In fact, I've got all sorts of, that's happened before where I've explained where someone, this is hilarious, where someone is like, hey, like, nope, that's too low. I can't do 70%. And I was like, and they were like, you know, kind of giving me flack. Like, why do people sell to you at 70%? Like, that seems crazy. Why would anybody do that? And I explained to them what I just explained to you guys. These people are like, huh, like, that's interesting. Like, I want to do that. And so I'm like, hey, here's my YouTube channel, check it out. And there are a few people who are now selling because I put them onto that. Not a lot, but a couple. And so yeah, it's a perspective that I don't share. I don't think offering 70% is, or 75 or whatever, is horrible or you're taking advantage of people. And I don't think those people are suckers. And I think that at the end of the day, if someone wants to sell their stuff at 70%, sell it at 70%. If you want to hold out and wait for the unicorn buyer who wants all of your 200 cards and they're willing to pay for 95%, like, feel free to wait. And there might be someone who comes along and eventually wants to pay that for your collection. But I don't think it's going to happen instantly. You might wait a little while. So yeah. But if you want your cash in hand today, I got you. Buying collections, 70, 65, 75%, depending on. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys in this one. I'm going to take in a little bit more of this beautiful fall Minnesota afternoon and yeah, then get back to work. I believe that Jesus loves you, that he's got an incredible plan for your life. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.